Good morning, students. Now, as we all know that whatever is going on around us, we are all at home. I guess you all are being at home, being safe, being healthy, and of course, away from any sort of social community. So, as we all know that we need to continue with our classes, and so it's just an effort from us for your benefit so that you don't lag behind, and thus I'm here to start with our class 9 English syllabus. I guess you all know me. I'm Ishita ma'am. So before we start, I'm going to give a brief idea about the books that you have for your class 9 syllabus. For class 9 you have got two books. One is Beehive, another is Moments. And this comes in your literature. Along with that you have your unseen comprehension, your writing and your grammar. So we'll be starting with our literature today, and for which I have chosen the first poem of your Beehive book. The first poem of your Beehive book will be something that I'm going to teach today. So the poem, as you can see, is The Road Not Taken, and it's written by Robert Frost. The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost. Before I go into the details of the poem, I'm going to say a few words about the poet Robert Frost. Robert Frost, an American poet who was born in San Francisco on 26th of March in the year 1874. He is, of course, an American poet who deals with very ordinary things of our daily life. His significant poems deal with insightful thoughts and themes. He often dealt with the poem that we pass through our daily life, but we hardly pay very attention to that very fact. But Robert Frost was the one who used to deal with all these sort of short and ordinary things of life which everybody of us go through. So the very poem, The Road Not Taken. Now before I start, let me tell you, I am not very aware that whether you have your books with you or not. I have tried to write down the poem in front of you. You can go through this as well, as it will be helpful for me as well as you to understand the poem if we see a copy of it in front of us. And even though if you cannot, you can obviously have a copy of it from your Google NCERT class 9 syllabus. Of course, it's a handy thing that you'll get there. So, moving on to our poem. The Road Not Taken. So before I explain it, I'll just go through the first two stanzas of the poem. And let me read it out to you. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry, I could not travel both. And be one traveller, long I stood, and looked down one as far as I could to where it bent in the undergrowth. Then took the other as just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear, though as for that the passing there had warned them really about the same. So these are the first two stanzas of the poem which I am going to start and explain in front of you. It would have been a better thing when I would have explained it in the class where we could have an interaction here, but let us keep this interaction part for our future use, and here it's only ma'am who will be explaining it to you and you need to understand it. If you have any problem, you can come along with that even after the school reopens. So at first we'll start with the very title, the road not taken. The thing that comes is the road. This is the most important word of the whole poem here. Here road refers to not only the normal path or the normal street that we talk about, but here it has got an implied meaning. Let me tell you, this whole poem is a part of symbol. It's symbolic of the two paths of our life. Two paths are what? The two decisions that we often come across in our life. Of course, you'll agree with me that it often happens with all of us that in quite very junctures of our life, we are there standing at a point with 2 or 3 decisions coming out or being shown in front of us. And there we human beings go through a dilemma that which way should I follow? Or which decision should I take? Or which road shall I go through? So these roads are the important decisions of our life. The roads are the 2 important decisions, the 2 important paths of our life that we often come across in our life frequently. So, here the poet tells us that he comes in a yellow wood, and there he has got 2 very roads in front of him. And he is very confused that which road does he take, or should he take, or which decision should he take. He regrets to the fact that it's not possible for him to take both of the decisions and walk in one, or the other day he can go through the other one and to see what its pros and cons can be. So, here he talks about the 2 roads, the one that he takes, the one that he does not take, and what will happen if he takes one and if he does not take the other one. So now, moving on to the poem, the road not taken. As I told you, it's very important to take a decision wisely. Because once you take a decision, it's taken. And you don't get the chance always to rectify that very decision of yours. So the decision should be a wise one, and you should be very much aware of the fact, or you must have the very acceptance of the fact that whatever the consequence will be, or whatever the benefits will be, you yourself is the one who's responsible. You will be the one who is there to be able to take all the decisions that come across. So, the road not taken. The poet talks about the path of the life which he does not take. So what has happened on that day when he was standing in that yellow wood? 2 roads diverged in a yellow wood. The first new word that come, diverged. And sorry, I could not travel both. So it's the day when the poet stands there in the yellow wood, and where 2 roads diverged in 2 different directions. Diverge means to go against 2 different directions. So he was standing at the fork of a road. You know what a fork is. You know the shape of the fork, where you are here and the 2 roads diverge. So this is a fork position where the poet was standing. In that yellow wood where he finds the 2 roads to be diverging in 2 different directions. And sorry, I could not travel both. The very term sorry gives us the idea that the poet repents on the fact that he cannot travel both the roads at the same time. So he says that he is very sorry for the fact that he cannot travel both the road. Even if he does not like, he needs to stop and he needs to choose one out of those two. And be one traveller, long I stood, and he is a mere traveller there, who's standing at the juncture of the two roads. And he says that I, being a traveller, I stand there still. Why? Because what is in front of him is something which is unknown to him. The poet does not know that what will be his life after choosing those roads, or what will be his life, or what will be the afterlife after going through any of those roads. So, and be one traveller, long I stood. He stood there for a long time just to take the proper wise decision, and looked down one as far as I could. So, the two roads diverging. You imagine me, I being the poet, okay? And I've got two roads here. So, what will be happening? Will I be able to stand here and look and see to the end of the two roads? Will I be able to do that? No. What can I do? I will be standing here still and looking there as much as I could. Just to see as long as I could. Not the full one, not the whole road, not the destiny that would bring there, but as much as I could. And looked down one as far as I could. So the poet stood in that very position at the juncture and he looked at the road as far as he could. Both the roads, he looked like that, to where it bent in the undergrowth. Another new word, undergrowth. Undergrowth here refers to the depth of the forests. So the poet, we know, he was standing there at the yellow wood. So the two roads were diverging and it has bent there somewhere in the undergrowth. So in the depth of the forest where it is covered with all bushes and trees, and the poet is not able to see the road to its fullest. So he was the one who could see the road as much as it could bend in the undergrowth. Now before anything else, I missed one point, that is the yellow wood. The very word yellow refers to the withering of the leaves. The wood being withered. And in which season is the wood withered or the forest gets yellow? At the time of autumn. So it is a scenario where the poet stands at the time of the autumn, at the time of the autumn season.